Hi guys, Michelle Jones here, and we're live. I wanted to come to you, as I said yesterday, to just share my experience on my frozen shoulders, what the options are that I've been presented, and what my decisions have been. So today's a difficult morning because, well, it's not morning anymore; it's almost noon. But I'm in a lot of pain, and yeah. So anyway, my kappa was supposed to have been with me walking outside with my husband, but something's come up this morning, so we're moving our walk to this afternoon. And I thought I'd just come to you here from my home and talk about my choices. So how are you this morning, and where are you joining us from? Say hello. I hope you picked up your own cup of coffee or cup of tea, or even your green smoothie, cup of green smoothie. Doesn't matter what you're drinking. Join us, sit down, have a chat. And if you have experienced having a frozen shoulder, if you have an amazing treatment that you had, share that here. If it didn't work, don't share it. Or actually, no, share it so that we know exactly what's not going to work. And I'm going to share that with you as well, because you see, there's very there's a lot of confusion, or there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the frozen shoulders. People don't really know where it's coming from, and I think the difficulty is understanding what's causing it to be able to treat it properly. So at least that's how my brain works. My brain works with me trying to figure out, okay, what's causing this? What organ system is struggling? What do I need to support? What do I need to do to get it happening and sorted smoothly? So I'm just checking our if everyone can hear me. Let me just turn my volume on just for a bit. Hello. Yes. Okay. We do have volume there. All right. So when I found out I had a frozen shoulder, did it stiffen up straight away? No, it didn't. First time I found out, it was just how do you call it? A pinch, like a pinch. I wasn't sure what it was, or when I'd hit, or my son would play a joke and just hit me that way, the wrong way, it would, I'd be in excruciating pain, but it would go. When it first started, it would go very quickly. I didn't really feel uh, it being too difficult. As the months went by, and I would say months because I think I started feeling it sometime in December, and that was why organized to do swimming January, February, March, still before we left Jakarta. I was swimming in our own in the pool of our apartment, where there weren't people that were using it. Like, it would just be one person or one family at a time that would actually use it. On a regular day, you'd probably have two sets using it, but there was never a lot of people. So it was a safe place, despite the pandemic that was going on back then. So I was able to exercise. I could feel that. I remember when I was trying to do my backstrokes, I couldn't do a straight backstroke. It would literally just, be slightly bent further up, if you can see that. So instead of doing it that way, it was further away. But that was fine. I could still do my laps. I was doing freestyle backstroke and breaststroke. Obviously, didn't attempt the butterfly. I'm not a butterfly swimmer anyway. But that was a good way for me to actually exercise my shoulder. It was I felt like I was doing the right thing by it. When we had to fly out, I was doing stretching exercises to make sure that I was, exercising. And one of the first things that I would do in the morning is do this. But if you look at this, I can't even lift my other arm to do the same. And when I would do this exercise, I would literally have to lift it and assist it, because assisted, it can do it. Non-assisted, it can't. It's just too low. So when you get a frozen shoulder, that also means that it starts stiffening, the capsule starts stiffening, or in some cases they say that you might have scabs forming, that you actually can't move your shoulder too much. Like it should be that way, right? You can't twist it the way it used to. So a block is created on one point. And I'm feeling that, and I'm doing the finger crawl where you're putting your hands up. And if you could look at this goes all the way up and this is here. So I literally have to push it up to allow it and just adjust my chest, because as I lift it, my whole chest goes up because it's trying to compensate to help it reach the top. So right now, doing that doesn't hurt. But if I move it the wrong way, then I feel the pain. If I push it further than what it can go or where it can go, then pain starts developing on this side. The other thing that I've found that is when I do certain exercises or newer exercises or push myself a little bit further, I can do that, then not be in pain. I stop, I breathe, I inhale, I exhale, do it again. Because stopping, so for those of you that have the frozen shoulder, when you reach the point where you feel pain and you just stop and you do this and you how do you call it? You sort of like embrace yourself because of the pain. You create that memory in your shoulder to stop it at that point, not to push further and just contract, or constrict your movement to that point. And that actually creates a blockage so that next time you try and do that, you can't do it. So the best way to do it is when you reach that point is you exhale, inhale again, and then just keep going and just keep going and you just keep going. And then you stop again. And it is exhausting and it is painful. And I know that. And I've had moments where I just feel so overwhelmed, like right now talking about it. And it's annoying. It's annoying. I love being able to take control of everything. I want to know that I can do things, and it's this thing is testing me, because it's showing me that at this point right now I can't do everything, and I don't want to feel that way. So anyway, you will feel that way. It will be frustrating, but it's also not. It's not the time to give up. It's not the time to say no, or to stop yourself from pushing yourself, because you are the only one that can push yourself. I've found that if I go, and I do go, sorry, I can't say if I go, but whenever I'm with my physio or whenever I'm with my chiropractor. So my chiropractor also does exercises with my hands and stretching and all that. I find that because they don't know the movement that affects me, I can be in more pain. And it gets me frustrated when that happens as well. But everyone's trying to help. So I have to keep an open mind about that and just wear my big girl pants and just keep going. So big girl pants doesn't just apply to you pushing yourself in your business, but applies to you pushing yourself in everything, especially in something like this. Just gonna have a drink because I'm getting very sensitive. So I'd like to know who among you who are listening right now have actually had a frozen shoulder. We are live on different platforms right now because I want to be able to target more people and hopefully share what I'm going through with somebody who's going through the same thing. This isn't the first time it's happened to me. It's the second time. The first time it happened to me was towards the end of our posting in Sri Lanka. So when I had it back then, again, just small pains, wasn't sure what it was. I remember Tayu, one of the physios in Revival Physical Medicine Center, would actually put those, I feel like the ECG, am I right? Sorry, I can't remember what they are, but the electric probes here to it's like contract and relax my shoulder so that it's moving the muscles and kind of exercising the muscles, even as I was consulting with patients. But back then I could get out, I could carry my stuff and all that. I was limiting myself to carrying heavy loads because of what's happened to my shoulder. But I was fine, and that kept progressing and getting worse after the posting. Got back to Australia, and I remember, being back in winter and hanging clothes on the line, and I couldn't hang the clothes on the clothesline. So I'd literally pull the clothesline down with my strong hand. But at the time, I had it on my left. So my strong hand was my right, pull it down with my right, and then pin my clothes. So I could work, I could do things, and you could, but everything had to work a different way. I had to change how I was doing things. I had to change how I was working. I had to change how I was carrying things. Like when I would put away plates into the cupboard, I couldn't put them away this way. I had to put them away this way, because as soon as I did that, it would hurt. So right now, this one is fine. But I guess if I'm putting it up at a higher point, I can't. This morning, I was trying to cook myself some pancakes, and I can't even, with the height of the pan and the ladle, I couldn't even turn my pancake around. So that was really, really frustrating. So that's what it means. That's what happens when you have a frozen shoulder. And it gets worse and worse unless you try and do something about it. Now, that being said, when I had it the first time around, they still kept saying, look, there's still a time frame, a duration that frozen shoulder stays and happens. And it'll finish, no matter what you do, it will live that lifespan or whatever. And at the end of that, then you'll be fine. So they said at that time it was like 2 years. I'm reading about it right now, and it's saying 1 to 3 years. So clearly people don't know. Some even say it could last for 5 years. It didn't last that long for me. It lasted about 2 years, I think, for me, from beginning till end. So not just at the height of it all. I think the really frustrating bit was a whole year, where I could literally see how it would slowly affect how far my hand would go. I remember a point where I just really couldn't lift it. Frustrating bits for women: you can't strap your bra. I can't reach my back. I can reach from the bottom. I can't lift it up the top. The towel wiping your back is very tricky. Shampooing. When you shampoo, if I lift my hand, this is it. So if I want to have exercise my hand in the shower, I lift it up so it actually shampoos the other side or soaps the other parts, right? Otherwise, it's just my left hand working the whole time. And my left arm is also more overwhelmed than normal because it's doing more work. It's trying to compensate for my right. So, but all that movement has to be done so that it doesn't limit what my right hand can do. I don't want to stop using my right hand. I'm a right-handed person, so I do everything or most of the stuff with my right. Limiting it right now will just stop me from being able to use my right as much as I can. And I don't want to do that. Again, the idea is you have to find what your limit is, what your body's able to do, and push it. Just push it so that it can do more. But push it not so that you're hurting yourself, but push it so that you are able to keep using the muscles. So the muscle memory, so your muscle remembers what it's been able to do, right? So remember, as I said, like with the simple exercise, you have to remind your muscle, okay, we were able to do more. You won't be able to, like, I can't put it higher than that. And that's really sore, and that's fine. But me doing that and constantly helping my muscle do more is actually a good thing. I use warm and cold compress. So right now, because it's so cold, when you wake up in the morning, it's so cold and you're stiff, it's very hard to start the workout. So I start off with a warm compress. This is my warm compress. It's inside this bed. I bought a second pack, which is in my freezer, which is my cold compress, so that when I've exercised my hand so much, I put that on, because there's inflammation. When you have a frozen shoulder, inflammation is always part of it. So with the inflammation, with the bursitis, you have to have a warm compress to kill the inflammation. So I start off with a warm compress, put it when I get up in the morning, start my exercises, finger walk. I try and do the sides. Can't see where this other hand goes because it's just down there. So lift it up and see how far up it can go. Even if I'm putting it forward, the movement is that I'm able to do a full circle. So I do that both hands. I use the walls a lot to allow the walls to guide me and just sort of be my crutch. So I do the circling of my arm with my back against the wall. I do the finger crawl on the wall. I do a side finger crawl on the wall. I go on the corner of the wall and try and push my chest towards the corner with my hands flat against the wall. And again, that really, really hurts. But it's a movement that I have to be able to do. And I always look at what my strong arm can do so that my right arm can try and mimic it the closest that it can. If you don't know how far it goes, you might hurt yourself because you're trying to push yourself, trying to push this arm. And, for example, this is as far back as my hand can go at this level. So if that's the case, I shouldn't try and push my other arm to do more, right? At a lower level, I can put it at the back, and that's fine. I remember when I first got to my chiropractor here, and that would have been sometime in May, I could literally put my hand behind my back and do this. And right now, that's just not possible. So that was just May, and my hand was flat like that. I was showing him. I said, look, I can do this. I said, but I know that my hand is starting to get weak because I know that there are things that I now can't do with it. So we were trying to fix it to stop it from happening. But again, May, June, July, August, 3 months after, I can't do that position. So it really is very frustrating. And I was saying at one point, it's more frustrating that I'm getting all this help. I'm doing physio, I'm doing my chiropractic, I'm, eating well. I've got my packs, I've got my lotions, and I still am stuck, right? Like literally stuck. So let me go through first what I've now decided to make my routine and what the next step's going to be. So when I get up in the morning, as I said, I put a heat pack first. And then what I do is I fill up a bowl of 11.5 pH, put my face cloth on it, rinse it, and wipe it. It's like a cold compress. Are you putting 11.5 pH because 11.5 is high in antioxidant, it's high anti-inflammatory as well, just in water, in cold water. So heat pack, and then that cold thing, and then I put my magnesium. When your body contracts, when there's a lot of spasm, magnesium actually helps relax the muscles. So I use magnesium. I put magnesium in my armpit, in this whole area, I massage it on my shoulder blades, my clavicle, because the clavicle is so sore right now because of the movements that it's trying to do, my back, my neck. So this whole area, sorry, all my hair. Let me just lift this up. Yep. So when you do it, if you're suffering from frozen shoulder like I am, I would suggest doing it on both sides. So do it on this whole side. This is my frozen shoulder. And when I do it on the other side, because my arm can't reach far enough, I use the front and the back of my hand to actually put the magnesium, wipe my armpit with the bottom, and then clavicle back. And I still use this. Remember, you have to use your muscles. You have to remember what it can do. So if this one can do this should be able to do that. So I just assist it, and then I leave it there. It's going to be gentle motions, but it has to be able to do the work. It can't do more. I can't, like literally it's stuck. I can't move it more than that, but it's fine. Constantly doing that every day just allows the muscle to keep moving. again, the memory works, right? After I put the magnesium, I don't really let it dry anymore. I just want to get it over with usually. And magnesium does take a while to dry, so it doesn't just dry that way. Then I put hemp. Again, I use hemp for the pain killing capacity it has and the anti-inflammatory um, capacity it has. And basically rub it in the same areas. I don't rub it on the armpit. I did in the beginning, but I thought, I have it there the whole day and not be able to lift it. I don't want to stink. So I have that here, put it on my shoulder, put it on my arms. It's winter anyway, so I try to put it all over my hands. When I exercise, the nerve pains are horrific, that it feels like a thunderbolt going to the ends of my fingers. So I put the hemp oil on my fingers and my wrist as well. So that's the hemp. I get dressed, I get out, I start the exercises. When I went to my GP, my GP talked to me about how when there's a lot of pain, when there's a lot of inflammation, it's going to be very hard to move the muscle. And at one point they were saying, just rest the muscle. But what I've found as well is when I rest the muscle, the next day I'm more pain and I move less. So again, this is me listening to what they've got to say. Different practitioners say different things. I play it in my head, I figure it out, and then I see what works best for me. So what works best for me is not moving it. I've tried doing that, and it really leaves me in excruciating pain because it's stiff. It is so stiff if I don't move it. Moving it just allows me to feel like it's better. So my doctor said to be able to keep moving it, I actually have to go on anti-inflammatories. I've run out of it, so I'm going to have to order it. I was on SPM Active by Metagenics. I love SPM Active for pain. Again, run out of that. I need to order that. There's another one that's come out that I've been reading about, which is PEA. Again, these are all natural stuff. I haven't tried PEA. Again, I've tried SPM Active. SPM Active has been a godsend for me. My chiropractor has recommended that I take Metagenics fish oil. It's a very potent fish oil that they've got, again, for its anti-inflammatory properties. I'm still on the fish oil, not really seeing the benefits from it. I've seen more benefits when I was on the SPM Active. So I'm sharing this because it's what's worked for me, and what is working for me. It's what's keeping me going. Doesn't necessarily mean it will work for others, because when he was telling me the story, he said that fish oil actually worked for one of his patients, and I respect that. And again, as I said, this is what works for me. Now, my doctor had said, look, let's try like the real thing, like the meds, the drugs. And because they have helped others and they've proven to help others. And I've said, well, you know what? If you're going to see what works and what doesn't work, you got to try it. So he gave me two. He gave me this one, which I'm supposed to be taking once a day. I don't take medication, so he gave me the smaller dose. I think there's like 1,000 something, 1,251. Naproxen, but this is what he's given me. He gave me the lower dose. And I've got codeine, Panadine, okay? So these are the drugs. So Panadine, he gave me the Naproxen because Panadine has addictive properties. Codeine, you can be addicted to codeine. So he was concerned about that. When I said, well, you know what, I'm just going to use it when I need it, he goes, no, you have to actually use it every day to build it up in your system. I used Naproxen for like 3 days, gave me really bad bloating, and I'm really not happy with it. thing that actually is even more frustrating is the pain didn't go away. And that's what I wanted to use it for. My pain was there. I was stiff in bed. I was, still, nothing's changed. Nothing's different from now. I haven't had any medications for the last, 2 days. The pain that I feel right now is the same pain that I feel when I have the medication. I did Panadine for the evening because when I was on naproxen wouldn't sustain me, and I was always worried about the pain at night. So I would take the codeine at night so that it would make me sleep. I've never really had sleeping problems, so I don't know if that actually helped me more. Maybe not. I still wake up to the bins being picked up at 4:40 a.m. here in an apartment. Guys start working at about 5:30, so it's not a good way to recover because you can't recover if you don't sleep well. So I have to sort this problem out. But yes, so tried codeine and tried the naproxen. They don't work. I do have to say that when I'm in excruciating pain without my SPM, I'm tempted to drink it. And I've just given myself the permission to go for it if I needed it. I didn't go for it last night. But I think one of the important things is when you're in pain, it's very hard to think. When you're in pain, it's very hard to make sense of things. So do what you need to do, knowing and understanding what the side effects are of what you're taking. Okay? Because only when you know what you're doing or what you're jumping into that you'll be aware of what the effects are in your system. Okay. The other thing that I've started doing is I've started drinking at least 3 liters of 9.5 pH Kangen water. Again, 9.5 because I want high alkaline in my system. This one has been linked to inflammation, pain, even to lactic acid buildup, all of which spells acidity. So I cannot drink less than 3 liters of 9.5 pH water. If you have a frozen shoulder and you're drinking tap, you're just hurting your system even more. Whoops, sorry, husband on the line. I'm on live. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so you can't afford to be acidic when you have this problem happening. You need to sort that problem out. If you still don't have a machine, you need to get yourself one. I used to say, well, it's good for you. It really is good for you. You will not find a machine that cleans your water out and then ionizes your water, and then is also one that cleans itself, that you can descale, and one with a whole factory behind it so that if anything happens, they will fix your machine up. I've had my machine for the last 9 years. We've had the oldest Kangen machine as about, I think, 30 years old. So you don't want to buy a machine that's going to break down on you. You don't want to buy a machine that says we will give you alkaline water because we keep the magnesium and stuff that's in the water and get rid of the others. Because that water, if you test the ORP of that water, and I know a few people that have that machine, it will give you a positive ORP, which means that the water in that is oxidized water. It will not give you antioxidants. Right now, when you're treating something, whether it's a frozen shoulder, it's trying to recover from cancer, you have a tumor, you've got diabetes, hypertension, or any osteoarthritis, any of these illnesses spells acidity. Any of these illnesses spells needing to increase antioxidants, then you need a Kangen machine. All right. So I drink at least 3 liters of Kangen. I make my coffee with Kangen. Coffee is acidic. When you use alkaline water to make your coffee, you balance it, you neutralize it. You make it good for you. So that's the other thing that I do. what are the other things that I found useful? A good friend of mine, Roslyn Camulia, and thanks Ross for that feedback, said you need to tape yourself. She said that when she had it years ago or something similar years ago, she had herself taped so she can work because she couldn't lift the pin from people's hair. So she was an amazing, amazing hairdresser, a hair makeup artist that traveled with shows before, and she couldn't do her job, so she had herself taped. So I asked my physio to do that for me, and I found that it helped. And he suggested that I get myself one of these things. So this is something that I bought just from the chemist. Okay, and all it is, and I'm going to show you, is you put your hand through that, and oops, the back. Put your other hand through it. You put it there. Let me just remove my hair so you can see what I'm showing you. Okay, so you've got it on the sides. You see that? And it pulls your shoulder back. And what it just does is it almost like puts the shoulder in place. When you're in pain, you kind of constrict and your shoulder blades, your shoulders go inward. And that's not what you want to do. You want it out. You want it sitting the way it should, so that when you do your movements, again, muscle recall, your muscles remember what it should be doing, where it should be at, and how good it should be doing it. And I found that this was quite helpful. I did order something online. I ordered it from a place called Pain Stop. I'm really disappointed with my order from them. I sent them an email, no response. Took forever for the order to come. I wanted to cancel that order, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to check these guys out and see how soon they actually get the order in. It took forever. Finally got it. Not showing it here. It wasn't any good because it couldn't even pull my shoulder back properly. The good thing that they had was they had a thicker strap. These straps are thin, so it can dig in and it can be exhausting. But I've found that I've been able to actually use it an hour to two, and then I take it off, put it in my bag, put it back on when I need it again. And it just helps me. I don't wear it when I'm sleeping. I've never tried wearing it when I'm sleeping. So again, all it does is it pulls my shoulder back, allows me to sit up or stand upright, makes my muscles stay where they need to stay, and then I feel like I move better with it as well. But at the end of the day, I do feel that it lessens the strain on my muscles. Like when I keep moving on muscles, keep using my muscles, it lessens the strain. What herbs do I use? So again, with me, it's not just pain. It's not just an inflammation. There really is like nerve pain that I feel like the nervous system is out of whack. So I am taking my Bacopa complex by Metagenics. Oops. I am taking a B vitamin. I use different types of B vitamins. This is the executive B that I've been taking. There is a Bioceuticals one that I use as well. But right now I've got this one. Executive B, Stress B by GNC and Blackmores are good ones. I actually use those. Again, vitamin B is really good for your nervous system. The other thing that I always don't want to be without is my Korean ginseng. I usually mix my herbs when it comes to Korean ginseng, but because we've traveled, I'm away from where all my stuff is. I haven't been able to mix my herbs. So this is Herbs of Gold that I was able to buy from the chemist, and it's ginseng. I will be mixing my herbs. I have ordered my extract so that I can create my own herbal extract, since we're here for quite a bit. Yeah, and I'll be mixing my herbs. Now, this is what I do at home. Again, painkillers are gone now. I'm just using my herbs. I'm using magnesium, hemp, the exercise. No painkillers until that my SPM from Metagenics arrives. I've given that for people who've had arthritis, rheumatism, excruciating pains, and I've used it when I was bleeding as well, when I had my Crohn's, and it was just beautiful, just amazing. It would stop the bleeding, it would kill my inflammation. And if you don't remember, my last Crohn's colonoscopy check, I was declared Crohn's free, healed of Crohn's. So that was one of the things that actually helped. That and sticking to my 9.5 pH Kangen water, because everything prior to that was the same. The diet, I was always careful what I ate. But yeah, the water was something that changed, and the SPM. SPM was towards the end. SPM was a great help when it came to stuff like hemorrhoids, bleeding. I guess bleeding hemorrhoids is a part of the Crohn's disease. When you have ulceration from your lip all the way to your anus. So that bit, SPM active helped with. Okay. Now, talking about painkillers, another discussion that I had with my doctor was shots. When you're trying to allow the physiotherapist to move your muscle to where it should be, which is there again, and that's where it goes, need some help to straighten it out, but need to put it back, need to be able to do more. So when you need all the help to actually get all these things happening, you can't do it when there's inflammation. So one of the things that was done previously were cortisone shots. Now, cortisol is a steroid. And when steroids are involved, there are different imbalances that can happen in the system. That being said, it's meant to just be a shot or 2 or 3 until the whole process is done. Now, that was the suggestion that my doctor gave me. My physiotherapist, beautiful Jamie Bolding, suggested PIT. I have to try and remember what PIT stands for, but he referred me to a doctor here. I'm hoping to be able to get the doctor to agree for me to record him when he treats me next time. We'll see. And if that happens, I'm going to put it online. But basically, he does, let me just, I've gone into his site so that I can actually say the name right. And I'm just going to see if you're losing me. Nope, I'm still here. Okay, so he's referred me to a doctor who's a sports and exercise physician. He works for the Australian College of Sports and Exercise Physicians. And he does this thing called, let me just see the name. It is called LiftGoat perineural injection. Okay, so the perineural injection uses saline glucose, and it's injected into like little injections into your shoulder area. And research has shown that that actually gets rid of the pain. It has better benefits, especially if nerves are involved, especially if anti-inflammatories don't work. So knowing that anti-inflammatories have failed, these 2 ones that were given to me, I wasn't keen on going on cortisol. The reason for that is if you read the research on PIT, it actually specifically says that cortisone shots don't work when it comes to patients who are not helped by anti-inflammatories that they take for the pain. So that hasn't helped me. So I'm looking at PIT. I've booked my appointment. I've booked 2. I've booked one with the doctor that's going to do the cortisone shots, and one for this one, because I'm constantly reading and updating myself on the research to just be sure that I'm on the right track. There was one other procedure I was looking at before, which was using plasma, where they get your own blood, they They harvest the plasma from your blood, inject that in so that it encourages healing of your skin, and you're using your own blood, and they found great results in that one. Unfortunately, we don't have that here in Canberra. So if you have that in your city, that might be something that you might want to look at, because there's a lot of good research on that as well. So research on PIT has shown that it helps 80% of the people that have gone for it. There are some instances when the research are higher, especially if they haven't been helped by anti-inflammatories. So I'm very positive. It is not a one-shot fix, is it? The first shot usually lasts very short, and then a succeeding shot has to be done. Steroids works the same way anyway. It is a lot of money, but I think you've heard me say this before. When it comes to health, when it comes to your health, you don't look at the money. You look at what it will do to you, what it can do for you, and what you are able to do because of it afterwards, right? So we've agreed, my husband and I have sat down and talked about this, and we're going for it. It is frustrating because I don't get my appointment until the 8th of September, which is really heartbreaking because I really don't want to keep going on with pain. But I'm a strong person. I'm going to persevere. I'm going to keep going. You know what, guys? That's all we can do. Look at the problem. Don't be defeated by the problem. Find a solution for the problem. And you know what's keeping me strong about this whole process is you, because I'm able to share it with you. I can be emotional with you. So I'm able to share it with you so that if you go through it, or if you know someone that goes through it, you can share this video. I can share what's worked and what hasn't worked. And hopefully, if you know someone that's gone through it, succeeded through it, please share with me. Now, what bloody doesn't work? I've been looking at physio videos, and some physios will say, hey, you do this, you hang on a bar and you do this, and mate, if you're in extreme pain, that's not going to work. In the beginning, as I said, when I was swimming, when it was just starting, I could do all that. That was fine. It's when it keeps going, keeps getting worse, that becomes the biggest problem. And I don't know what's causing it to get worse. And the problem is research can't explain it either. The way I treat my body and the way I assess things is understanding what causes it and what makes it happen. So I know that nerves are involved right now. I know inflammation's involved right now. So those are the two things I'm working on. And I know it's my bones, right? Nerves, ginkgo, ginseng, magnesium, and the other minerals required for your nerves. Vitamin B, again, is for your nerves. Inflammation, you have to go high alkaline to get rid of inflammation, have to go high anti-inflammatories. That's my Kangen 9.5. That's my cold compress 11.5. That's my SPM active, which is an anti-inflammatory. My fish oil, which I'm still going on with as well. Hemp seed pain anti-inflammatory, again, that's part of it. Had I been able to get hold of cannabis, I would probably have tried it. Can't get hold of that here in Canberra. So let me know how you've done with that. I have spoken to a herbalist friend of mine, wonderful mentor, Patricia Winnicke. Patricia was saying that cannabis, although it kills pain, has that addictive property, also has that property that doesn't allow you to heal. It just gets rid of the pain. Mugwort apparently is a close relative to cannabis, which does the healing as well as the pain relief. So I'm going to be looking at mugwort. Again, as I said, this whole process is me constantly learning and remembering again herbs that I liked before, stopped using because they don't see a lot of those cases. Use whatever happens to you as a way to step on to whatever next level it is. And this I'm seeing as the opportunity for me to learn more about frozen shoulders, what works, what doesn't work, so I can help more people, so I can help others out there. I'm not perfect. I am so far from perfect. I am not brave. I make myself brave, but I do get very emotional. And you know what? If I can do it, you can do it. Whatever it is that you're going through right now, assess the situation, breathe, write everything down. If you can't, just think with your head. See what works, what doesn't work. See what next steps you should be taking, and use it as a way to learn how to get over something that, like this, whatever it is that you're going through. In my case, it's my frozen shoulders. Because when you do and you share that with others, you'll be able to help others. That might be the silver lining, right? So always try and find the silver lining. And I thank you guys for here for joining me, even if I can't see who you guys are right now. I promise I'll answer the questions when I go through it. Just thank you for being there, for listening, and for trusting in what I say. If you guys are the ones that's struggling with this and you're trusting what I'm sharing, thank you. Let me just see. I've got a comment here. When you go through a medication therapy, how long before you decide, let me try let me try something else, doesn't work? Any tips? Um, when you try something, you don't try it once and then go, oh, this doesn't work. When they said the anti-inflammatories were going to work and codeine was going to work, I know codeine. I've used codeine before. And when they give it to you, it works. That's why we used to say, oh, give me the drugs, because, codeine would put you to sleep, it would work for you. When you've tried it for 2-3 days straight and it doesn't work, then you have to start looking at something else, because the longer you stay on those, the longer you get stuck and you can't just ease off those. My suggestion is have a practitioner help you when you're going through that, because if you've never done it before, you don't understand how medications work, you don't understand when they're supposed to work for you. It'll just be a guessing game, and you might hurt yourself in the process. Again, I was, prior to my training in 2002, when I started looking at herbal medicine to heal my Crohn's disease, I took medications. I took migraine medications. I took everything. My father was in the pharmaceutical industry, so I knew how medications work. Again, as I said, I've tried painkillers, I've tried anti-inflammatories, and I know how soon they're meant to work. In this case, it didn't work. You can't try something and expect it to work if it's not meant to work immediately. But if it's something that's supposed to work immediately, you're supposed to see results. And if it's supposed to keep getting better and better and work better and better for you, and it doesn't, then clearly it doesn't, right? In terms of deciding whether to take the shots or the PIT, it was research, really looking at medical research journals, what the journals have said, what the research showed, who their sample group was. Was it a group of people who had just a frozen shoulder, for example, in my case? Was it people who had arthritis, rheumatism? So I looked for those that really catered to frozen shoulders, and I looked at what the success results were. So again, that's how I made the decision with myself. With regards to supplements, supplements take a bit longer, so you have to keep taking them for at least a week or so to actually see that high anti-inflammatory supplements within a week should actually show you something. May not kill the whole pain, but should show you something. The SPM active, in about 3 days, you'd see the difference at high doses. So I do take them at high doses. So again, I guess, Connie, the best way to tell how to do it is you need someone to guide you and tell you whether or not you should switch to something else. I love working with different modalities. I do respect doctors. You also need to understand and have a good relationship with yours. You need to know how your doctor thinks. My doctor Is a very reliable man, but he's very conservative, and I know that about him, and he's admitted that to me as well. So I know that given the choice of someone who will do PIT and someone who will do cortisone shots, he will always opt for the one that will do the cortisone shot, especially that man who does the cortisone shots been here in Canberra, working in Canberra for a long time. And he's familiar with that person. So it's trust. It's about trust. So I trust him to recommend me to good doctors who are reliable. But to try something different that's out of the box, he's not going to do that. And I know that about him. So I am someone who will try something out of the box, but I will do the research and I will check it out and make sure that it actually does make sense, that it looks like it's going to work, and then I'm going to go for it. And so I'm doing this PIT. Again, when I looked at PIT, it was my physiotherapist that shared that information with me, talked to me about others that he's heard have been relieved by this procedure. So I guess to a certain degree, it is still someone that shared that information to me. I didn't just pick that up from thin air. So it's from a seminar, a workshop, a doctor. But after I hear it from them, I need to see the research. I need to see the numbers. I need to see the results. And that's how I deal with things, and that's how I do it. So that's the latest. So I've got my braces. I try and stay on my braces as long as I can. Usually it's about a couple of hours. I take it off for about 30 minutes to an hour, put it back on. I don't put it on at night. I put my warm compress when I'm about to try and do another set of exercises. Try and do my exercises little bits every day. Ideally, it's 3 times a day. Sometimes I don't get to do the 3 times a day, but daily is really important. Walking, getting some air, getting the sun, seeing nature keeps me sane. I'm sure a lot of you feel that way as well. I've got the blinds at the back closed only because if I keep it on, you're not going to see me because it's so nice and bright outside today. We've had very, very cold temperature. Today is better. Not so. It's 9 degrees outside. Was meant to be warmer than that, but no, it's just 9 degrees. But that's fine. When the sun is out here in Canberra, it's actually nice and beautiful. It can be cold. You rug yourself up. You stay under the sun. It's still quite nice. So if you're suffering from the frozen shoulder, re-listen to this one. Write down what I've shared. Take those into account. Look at what you're using, what you're doing right now. Share that with me. Help me guide you. Let's help each other out. Let's exchange information. Tell me how you're feeling with what you're doing, what's working and what's not working, what's driving you crazy. But again, at the end of the day, you know what? I've heard somebody say, cry if you need to cry, but get it out of your system and go on. You can't keep crying. I would always, always tell my children, and my children know this, I would always say, crying will not solve the problem. If you need to cry, cry, but don't cry if no one's hurting you. You cry when someone's trying to hurt you. But if you're trying to solve a problem, you need it out of your system, fine, cry, but then get over it and solve the problem. You are the only one that can solve your problem. You're the only one that can resolve the situation you're in. And always, always remember, nothing you're in right now is permanent. Your body's amazing. Our body's equipped to actually rebuild itself. We just need to know what's going on and what to feed it so it can rebuild itself. So that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. What does my body need? Aside from tender loving care, a hug, the sun, fresh air, good food, good water, amazing supplements. If you feed your body all that and you look at specifics, what it needs to actually do the job that it needs to do, then your body will do it. It's like a season. This is a phase you're going through. You have to get over that phase to get onto the next one. But there will be a next one, and there's an end to this phase. So don't let this phase pull you down. You have to be strong, and you have to know that like how our seasons change, your season will change. You are being prepped for a higher season. I used to tease and I used to say, when I'm not so depressed, I still say it. When I'm depressed, I kind of have a hard time teasing myself. But I always tease my shoulder and I say, look, we're going to live till 100. You better build yourself up. And maybe it's its way of building itself up. It's got to break itself down and build itself up again. And if that's the case, hey, mate, good on you. Let's do it together. So I'm going to help my shoulder get that happening. And I'm going to help it strengthen itself. So again, thanks for joining me, keeping me sane, helping me talk to someone, helping me process my ideas in my head by talking and sharing with you. And share your thoughts, your ideas with me. Let me know if you've heard of anyone with a frozen shoulder, or if you've had one. What have you done about it? How long did it last? And have a great morning. I hope I was able to share everything. I think everything that I put on this desk, I've shared with you. I haven't really shared much about the progress of my experiment. I'm going to share that in terms of photos, I guess, or maybe tomorrow. Today, again, was quite exhausting, and day has just started. But I'm stronger than what's going on here. My God is stronger than whatever it is that's trying to pull me down. So it's not happening. Have a great day, everyone. And let me know what bit you found helpful, what you want more information about, and let's exchange ideas. Again, have a great morning. Have a great afternoon and a great evening, depending on where you are. Again, Couple with Michelle.